Let's get right into it. Here we go.
Looking back on The Parent Trap, there's a couple of things I think it's time we are honest about. When I say The Parent Trap, no, not the 1961 version with Haley Mills. I've actually never seen that one, but as a millennial, the one I grew up on, the 1998 remake starring Lindsay Lohan. The Parent Trap is about identical twins, Annie and Hallie, who meet at a summer camp and realize they're sisters.
Sisters. Hallie, we're like twins.
They were separated at a young age by their incredibly selfish but also weirdly charming divorced parents who each took a twin and never looked back. So the parents basically chose to practice abandonment in the name of self-love. It's a very interesting life decision that affected many people. But you know what they say, self-love is the best love, so there's that. The twins swap lives, cue the pranks, English accents, and more lies in a group text full of fake friends, and we have a classic on our hands. But let's be real just for a second. This plot, bit ridiculous. Later on, I'll tell why it actually works, but two grown adults had twins, broke up, and said, you take one, I'll take the other, and we'll never speak again. What?
His and hers, kids. No offense, Mom, but this arrangement really sucks.
How is that a viable choice? As a parent, every time you look at your one child, you wouldn't think of the other. I mean, after all, they are identical twins. It wouldn't rot your insides out at the mere thought that you completely disowned an innocent being for no other reason other than I left and you didn't come after me, or
I didn't know that you wanted me to.
Then 11 years later, the girls accidentally meet and hate each other just based on the competitive energy of fencing. Everyone notices that they look just alike, and I mean, how could you not? Hallie, being who she is, of course, acts like she doesn't see it.
Resemblance between you and me?
Which explains why she didn't catch on to the fact that they were deeply related. She created division between them from the start. A barrier of, girl, you are not on my level. So when Annie's talking to her, she's just like, girl, are you slow? Well, she didn't say that exactly, but she wanted to. Instead, she began to get a little frustrated because all the pieces are lining up and Hallie is just not getting it. But she redeems herself.
I have a brilliant, beyond brilliant idea. I'm serious. I am a total genius.
The idea to switch places so that they can get to meet their other parent. Here's the other thing that I never quite understood about these parents, though. It's one thing to never see each other again, leave the other child for dead, but you could have.
At least tell me what he was like.
Was there really harm in giving details about the other parent? I mean, Facebook wasn't around, so it wasn't like they were going to look them up easily. These people were just selfish all around. But the biggest problem that many of us saw was that not only were the parents not the ones who recognized that they had the wrong kid after the switch, but they didn't even have that big of an emotional reaction. Grandfather figured out that they had the wrong Annie, though Martin playfully hinted at it.
Sounds just like your twin.
My twin? Very funny.
And Chessie figured out that they had the wrong Hallie.
Or if I didn't know any better, I'd say it's almost like you were...
At first glance, none of this makes sense. But then when you think about it, it actually makes perfect sense for two reasons. And I'm going to explain why. Nick and Lizzie never intended to reunite with their other kid. It was not something they ever discussed. It simply wasn't in the cards. They lived as if the other child didn't exist. So their lackluster reactions reflected that. It's like that Christmas gift game where you pick a gift and rotate until you get the one you actually want. Then someone takes your gift and somehow you end up with the gift you started with and you sit there like, thank you for the gift, but I didn't want it. That's why I gave it away. Same sentiments. The second reason why this actually makes sense, the parents are two very successful individuals, one running a vineyard and the other a wedding gown designer. In order to accumulate this amount of success, you have to put a lot of time and energy into your work, which means if you have children, you need help. Who did they have? A grandparent, a butler, and a nanny. Traditionally, this group of people spend so much time with the kid. Sometimes they know the kid better than the parent. Their bond is in some ways stronger than the one with the parent. So again, it actually makes perfect sense.
Can I hug her?
Every performance in this film was an A+. Lindsay Lohan plays both twins, Annie and Hallie, and honestly, she ate, no crumbs. I already gave her flowers, but bravo again, you go Glen Coco. Natasha Richardson as Elizabeth James, the elegant wedding designer who clearly still has feelings for Nick, because why else would she be crashing out so bad after over a decade of not seeing him?
I mean, I'm flying halfway across the world to... I'm not mature enough for this.
Dennis Quaid plays Nick Parker, the charming vineyard dad who in some ways felt forced to finally move on with his life, but knew good and well that the young chick with bad energy was not it. And then there's Meredith Blake, played by Elaine Hendricks, the hot evil stepmom-to-be who walked so that every Real Housewife villain could run.
Have you seen your father?
You talking to me?
What are you, Robert De Niro? Yes, I am talking to you.
Simon Kunz as Martin, and Lisa Ann Walter as Chessie. They're the real MVPs of this story. Every person watching gravitated to them. Martin drops her off to camp. We automatically see the bond they have. He has clearly been a father figure in her life. Chessie, the wise talking fun nanny, clearly a surrogate mom for Hallie. And you can tell she doesn't take any crap from Nick. Just a fun bunch of characters. Can we talk about the locations? This movie was basically a travel brochure. You've got a summer camp in Maine, a Napa Valley vineyard, and bougie scenes in London. It's visually cozy like Pinterest before Pinterest existed. The cinematography, classic 90s, is warm, bright, and has that classic 90s glow that in today's time would be a nostalgic Instagram filter called Remember Your Childhood. Nancy Meyers knows how to direct a beautiful kitchen, and The Parent Trap was just the beginning. You could feel the sunlight bouncing off the countertops, and yes, the vineyard home goals. The London townhouse, more goals. As a kid, I would have taken either one of them to grow up in. What am I talking about? I'll take either to grow up in now. Director Nancy Meyers, queen of cozy chaos, really nailed the tone. It's light, it's heartfelt, it's funny, and it walks the fine line between being a kid's movie and sneaking in grown-up drama. The script has sharp one-liners,
I gave you a fright?
memorable quotes, and enough heart to make the toughest of the tough shed a tear. Also, props to the editing team. That twin switching camera work still holds up today. They made us believe Lindsay was talking to Lindsay, and this is all without AI. The music in this film opens with Nat King Cole's Love, seemingly while Nick and Elizabeth are falling in love, getting married, and 11 years later, we are at camp listening to Soulful Strut during the famous handshake. Bat to the bone while they're trying to show each other up in poker. And by the way, 11-year-olds playing poker. I was playing Go Fish and Uno. Do you believe in magic during the montage of the speed course in Other Twin 101? There she goes when Hallie arrives in London for the very first time. Here comes the sun while admiring her mother's knickknacks on her dresser and strolling down to the studio. Never Let You Go while admiring her mom's work. Every time we say goodbye when they separate again, this will be at the end. I mean, hit after hit. A beautiful score throughout the film. But you know who never gets their props? That girl was playing at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's freezing outside, the wind is blowing, and she's just going. I mean, come on. Let's give her a round of applause. So why does The Parent Trap work so well? It's a combination of things. You've got a strong emotional core, 2 kids wanting a family, a charming cast, a cozy aesthetic, and just the right amount of slapstick. Plus, the stakes feel real when you're a kid. Like getting your parents back together, that's basically the Olympics of childhood goals. Also, the chemistry between the casts. A+. Natasha and Dennis, amazing. Lindsay and literally everyone she's on screen with, carrying the whole movie on her preteen shoulders. In the end, The Parent Trap is iconic because it's heartfelt, funny, and has a core message about love, family, and forgiveness, all wrapped in a beautifully lit, aggressively cozy package. Sure, the plot makes zero sense in real world, but in 90s movie logic, it's flawless. So next time you're feeling nostalgic or need a reminder of Lindsay Lohan's power era, throw on The Parent Trap, get you a bowl full of chili and cornbread, and take it all in. Just maybe don't take parenting tips from.
She said that like it was like popcorn and a drink. Like, yo, what you got going on?